Hi, I'm Vinny, and today's story is about this 2-year-old seedling of ficus religiosa, also known as people tree. So I'll be showing you some close-ups of this tree and a brief history of how this was made, and then I'll come back to do some pruning work and maybe even some repotting on this. Let me explain the setup first. What you're seeing here is a self-watered setup for this people tree seedling. There are threads running from this down into the water, and they are supplying water to the soil inside this. And I have not watered this manually for the last several months, and it has survived my peak summer because it's always getting a supply of water from this bottle. So this bottle is exactly like this bottle. It's a milk carton, it's a milk bottle with the neck is cut off so that this bottle cap can sit inside that. And I fill the water till around this level. So there is a gap between the base and the water level. So the water level typically stops here. And these roots are all immersed in water. So the rest of the roots are in air. And they were not always this thick to begin with. They were extremely fine roots in the initial stages. And in the last 2 years, they have become thick like this. So as the water levels start decreasing, these roots start extending and getting deeper into the pot. And these have been pruned several times. So once it reaches till there, I chop it off again back to roughly half this length. And this has happened a couple of times. And sometimes I over-fertilize and the roots start decaying and smelling bad, and I have to chop it off again. So this entire growth has happened multiple times. It's not the first time that is happening. This newspaper roll prevents light from entering the container, because if that happens, then there will be algae growth inside the water and it turns green and it starts sticking to my roots also. So to prevent algae growth inside the water container, I need to block light, and that is done with this newspaper roll. And I have also a thick aluminum wire here, which is tightly wound around this, and from this I am drawing strings like this, which extend all the way till the branches. So I just gently pull down the branches and these force them down. So I am not wiring it. I haven't wired this even once. So the branches are kind of held in a low position like this. And on the other branch also I have a similar hook. So I'm not wiring it down, I'm actually gently holding it down through this. And I can adjust the tension on the string by moving its position along this wire. So the further I pull it, the tighter this becomes and the lower the branch will be. So this is how I am able to shape it. This is still loose. I need to adjust this. Now my plan for this has become slightly bigger than what I wanted, and a little bit of malnourishment is visible, so I need to feed more to the plant, more nutrition. So the plan is basically there are these two branches extending way too long, and it was allowed to grow because I wanted the branch to thicken. So as long as the branch is growing, this will increase in thickness. And I had pinched off the tops some time back, as you can see here also. I just nipped off the tip so that it doesn't grow any longer. So now the next step is I want to cut it off completely at this and at this level, and maybe here also at this level. And this I need the branch to grow thicker, so I'm going to allow it to extend way further, maybe double the length of this. And other branches, this is also quite young and thin. Same is the case with this and this. There was a new branch extending here which kind of died because it was not getting enough light. So I think I'm going to allow this branch to grow further and the hope that something else will grow from here. So these two basically will have to go. And at some point I do want to check what is the condition of roots inside this cap. I'm sure to find root circling, but I don't want to do everything together. So I think I'll first do the branch pruning and let it grow further, and hopefully side branches will develop. And this I'm postponing it, but I also know that the root structure is getting damaged, but I don't want to lose that entire mass of roots inside this. So I worked pretty hard to get to this stage. So I'm going to keep that and delay the root work, let the top take place. So it seems to be responding well so far. I'm going to continue that, but at some point later in the life of this plant, I'll completely cut off the roots extending out of this and pull this fellow out and see what is the condition. Maybe some root pruning has to be done, and I may move it temporarily to a bigger container, but eventually it will come back to a small pot like this. So I have not decided about this yet.